Our brain has evolved to discard information that it thinks has no relevance. If you think like what is education, like you're basically downloading data and algorithms into your brain, and it's actually amazingly bad in conventional education because like it shouldn't be like this huge chore. So I think colleges are basically for fun, and to prove you can do your chores, but they're not for learning. You're self-taught. Yeah. Well, I self-taught, yes, meaning, I didn't have an aerospace degree. So how did you go about acquiring the knowledge? Well, I read a lot of books, talked to a lot of people, and have a great team. It's important to teach problem solving, or teach to the problem, not to the tools. So this would be like say, you're trying to teach people about how engines work, or you could start by a more traditional approach would be to say we're going to teach you all about screwdrivers and wrenches. And you can have a course of screwdrivers or caution wrenches, and all these things, and this is a very difficult way to do it. A much better way would be like, here's the engine, now let's take it apart. How we're going to take it apart? Oh, you need a screwdriver, that's what the screwdriver is for. You need a wrench, that's what the wrench is for. And then a very important thing happens, which is that the relevance of the tools becomes apparent. You don't need college learning, learn stuff, okay? Everything is available basically for free. You can learn anything you want for free. It is not a question of learning them. There is a value that colleges have, which is like, seeing whether can somebody work hard at something, including a bunch of sort of annoying homework assignments, and still do their homework assignments, and kind of soldier through and get it done. That's like the main value of college. And then also, if you probably want to hang around with a bunch of people your own age for a while instead of going right into the work for CISO. I think colleges are basically for fun and to prove you can do your chores, but they're not for learning. Generally you want education to be like as close to a video game as possible. Like a good video game, you do not need to tell your kid to play video games. They will play video games on autopilot all day. So if you can make it interactive and engaging, then you can make education far more compelling and far easier to do. So you really want to disconnect the whole grade level 3 thing from the subjects. Allow people to progress at the fastest pace that they can or interested in each subject. It seems like a really obvious thing. I think like most teaching today is a lot like vodka, where and as a result just not that compelling. It's like somebody standing up there and lecturing to you, and they've done the same lecture several years in a row. They're not necessarily all that engaged or in doing it. If you're like, what is education? Like you're basically downloading data and algorithms into your brain, and it's actually amazingly bad in conventional education, because like it shouldn't be like this huge tour. Like the more you can gamify the process of learning, the better. Like for my kids, I do not have to encourage them to play video games. Yeah, okay, I like pry them from their hands like crack. Yes, like drop that crack needle. In fact, I think a lot of things people learn, probably there's no point in learning them, because they never use them in the future. Well, you have to say like people, I think, don't stand back and say, well, why are we teaching people these things? And we should tell them probably why we're teaching these things, because a lot of kids are just in school kind of puzzled as to why they're there. And I think if you can explain the why of things, then that makes a huge difference to people's motivation. Yeah, then they understand purpose. Yeah. So I think that's pretty important, and just make it entertaining. But I think just in general, like conventional education should be massively overhauled. I'm sure you very much agree with that, but well, people do not think critically enough. There's critical thinking is a skill in short supply, where people take too many things as they assume too many things to be true, without sufficient basis in that belief. So in that belief, it's very important that people closely analyze what is supposed to be true, and try to build up, try to say, let's analyze things from first principles, not by analogy or not by convention.